Hey, how's it going everybody? Taco from Tuesday here, and today I'm bringing you a little odd video. So I want to start a little thing called base build mashups, in which I show my top bases from any given price range. So in every one of these base build mashups, I will be featuring 3 to 5 bases depending on the price range of course, and I will give you guys a tour of the base. Now obviously I won't be able to fit a base tutorial inside these base build mashups, but I will leave a Fortify paste bin in the description. The Fortify paste bins will include every single thing featured in these bases, aka it's an exact replica. If you're new to Fortify and you don't know how to import paste bins, all you gotta do is just click on the link down below, copy the stuff from the raw paste data, then just launch Fortify and go to the top left and scroll down until you see clipboard import. If all the paste data was copied correctly, you should get an exact copy of the base from the video. And you can easily learn how to build this base in Rust by just clicking hide layers and the up and down arrow to go up between layers. If you don't have Fortify, I will leave a few links down below to help you out. Anyways, enough with the useless information. Today's base build mashup will be featuring bases within the price range of 60,000 stone to 80,000 stone. So obviously these bases are going to be intended for 4 to 6 players, so a decent sized group. Anyways, let's show you guys the first one. So this first design is based off of a base that I made about a year ago. Now obviously building in Rust has gone through many changes, so I've updated it quite a bit so it's able to be used today. This base will cost you 63,000 stone, 12,000 wood, and 13,000 metal frags. Also this base is the strongest of the 3, so if you're looking for a base that'll be a tank, this is the one for you. To raid this base, it's going to cost you around 40 rockets or 20 C4. The raid cost is calculated with the assumption that you are using armored doors and that you are splitting off your loot. So it does not take 40 rockets to get into the base, but it takes 40 rockets to get all your loot. So anyways, enough talk, here's the base. Here we are with the base tour. The base looks actually kind of interesting from outside in my opinion, but anyways, through the armored door we have ourselves a dump chest and a repair bench. Dump chest will just be used as a quick depot from farming, and repair bench will be used to repair tools. On the front armored door we have ourselves a little hatch so we can check outside for door campers. Sometimes we don't have access to auto turrets, so this will help a lot. A few more doors in, we will lead to our center, which obviously has our cupboard, as well as a few boxes. My intentions for the boxes is to be used as main storage, so if you want to store things like C4 down here, you can. This is due to the 1x1 being directly in the center, making it harder to raid than any other loot room. Now we are on our third floor. There is a single door and a double door. We're going to leave the single door alone, but we're going to head through the double door into this room right over here. There are 2 entrances to this room, the one we're just in, and this double door over here. So, 2 ladder hatches, 2 entrances. Generally, in this room there's not a lot to offer, but there are a few beds, as well as a few other utility structures, such as refrigerators and campfires. So in areas such as these, this is where you're going to spawn in. But anyways, behind this armored door is one of 2 loot rooms. There are technically 4, but we'll get to that in a second. In each loot room there are 2 pods that have 4 boxes in each, and another pod that has 4 furnaces, which is guarded by a cell gate. So don't worry too much about guarding the furnaces, you can pretty much just use sheet metal doors, doesn't really matter. So once they've used about 12 rockets raiding that one loot room, they've got to use another 8 rockets just to get to the other loot room. So once they've used 8 rockets, now they got to use another 8 just to blow these 2 doors down. So as long as you split off your loot evenly, this base can be really hard to raid. Our next location is behind these 2 doors right here. Behind these single doors leads to another loot room, so this is what I mean by technically there are 4 loot rooms. But anyways, in this loot room there are tons of chests, so if you like to go out PvPing and your group likes to PvP a lot, you can dump all your loot in here and not even have to worry about organizing it. Another great thing is it's actually 3 walls just to blow into this loot room, so it's not any easier to raid than the other ones, it's actually harder to raid. Like I said, same thing on the other side, so right here, tons of chests, no need to organize anything in here. So behind the single door right next to our ladder hatch that I said we'd leave alone for now, we have 2 boxes to store some weapons and gear, so if you want to split off your loot even more, you can. But anyways, that door pretty much just leads out to our catwalk, so if you want to use this as a shooting floor, you can go ahead and do so. If you have the components to do so, you can also add auto turrets up here just to add some more protection. That way nobody can come up to your base. Back into the center 1x1 of our 3rd floor, we have a ladder hatch that leads up to our top floor. Our 4th floor does not have that much to offer, but it is pretty cool. On our 4th floor, we have 2 loot rooms and a few windows to shoot out of. So behind these 2 single doors are obviously those loot rooms I was talking about, and you should be able to split off loot even more. So pretty much the motto for this base is the more you split off your loot, the harder the base is to raid. But anyways, the last feature to this base is pretty much these top windows up here so we can get some sniping action. If you didn't notice, because I'm putting more resources into this base, it's much easier to add things like shooting rooms, so you're going to see a lot of shooting rooms in these more expensive builds. Anyways guys, that's pretty much it for this base. If you would like to learn how to build it, click on the Fortify link down below, and of course, let's move on with the next build. So this next base is going to be a little bigger than the other one and it'll cost just slightly more. In my opinion, this base has the best interior of the 3, and it definitely excels in its shooting room design. So a few basic facts: this base costs 71,000 stone, 9,500 wood, and 14,000 metal frags. So to raid this base, it's going to cost you 32 rockets or 16 C4, so it's only slightly weaker than the other one. Even though this base is slightly weaker than the other one, it definitely covers up its cons with its excellent interior design. Anyways, enough talk, here's the base. On to the second base tour. Notice how we're using the same setup with armored doors. Obviously, if you don't have enough high qual, you can of course just use sheet metal doors. But anyways, I like using my front door as armored because once again, you can use the hatch to check for door campers. But because this base features auto turrets, door camping really won't be a thing. 4 more doors and we make it to the center. Therefore, it'll be 5 doors just to get to the center one by one, which is 10 C4 to raid this loot room. In this loot room, we have a cupboard, of course, as well as 4 boxes. In these 4 boxes, I recommend that you store things like C4 and other rare things, because 10 C4 to get to the center pod is pretty good. To the left, we have a cell gate that protects our ladder hatch room. Pretty much, you can climb on this ladder, open up the ladder hatch, and then you can enter up to your 3rd floor. For our spawn locations, we're going to be using bags, so we have 3 bags right over here, and another 3 over there. To start it off, behind this armored door right here, and this armored door right here, we have our main loot storage. So what's cool about this loot room is it's actually 3 walls to center, so it's going to be one of the most protected loot rooms in this base. It's very uncommon that somebody will actually blow through this loot room anyways, so you shouldn't have to worry about somebody raiding this, unless they have a lot of explosives, of course. Like the sides, going through the roof is going to be still 3 walls just to get to this loot room. Same thing over here, as you see, 2 more boxes. Our next loot room is behind these 2 doors right here, which has 3 boxes behind them, 2 large and 1 small. These are also very protected loot rooms because they're directly in the center. Next up is our furnace rooms, so behind these cell gates we have 5 small furnaces and 4 large boxes. Same thing over here and over here. The last thing I want to show you guys about this loot room is this ladder hatch right here. This opens up to 2 large boxes for you guys to store whatever you want. This is just a cool little thing I added, you don't have to have it if you don't want to. Now to get to our shooting room, all you gotta do is just jump on top of your furnaces right here, and then you gotta go through the door. Not too hard, and now we're on our shooting floor. Before I show you guys a few things, here's just a little detour. So on this shooting floor, we have things like sandbag barricades, which allow us to shoot people on top of hills without getting hit from down below. We also have doorway ports, which gives us an excellent vertical angle for people who are down below. And finally, we have our normal simple window ports. One last thing on this floor is we have this little lower deck here. There are 4 of these lower decks that have 2 auto turrets in each. This will help keep people away from your base and will prevent people from coming up to your door to door camp you. Behind this mysterious cell gate is what I like to call a buffer layer. Basically, by adding this floor, we could put 45-degree roofs to add an extra 2 layers to get to our loot room. This room does nothing but add more layers, but you can add loot rooms in here if you'd like, completely up to you. But anyways guys, that's pretty much it for this base, so once again, Fortify will be in the description if you want to know how to build this, so let's move on. So this next base is going to be the biggest of the 3. To start it off with the cost, it's going to cost you 63,000 stone, 13,000 wood, and 15,000 metal frags. Because this base is much bigger than the others, it's going to be more spacious, therefore it will be intended for around 6 players. Now to raid the base, it's not going to be as strong as the other bases, but it definitely could put up a fight. To raid the base, it's going to cost you 29 rockets or 15 C4. Anyways, enough talk, here's the base. Here's the tour, and notice how we're not going to be focusing too much on the catwalk. Those little platforms right above me are just optional. Obviously armored door on the front, that way we can use the hatch. Quite simple, similar to the other 2 bases. One more door in, we come to a set of double doors and 1 single door. So behind the set of double doors, we have ourselves a few dump chests in which whatever you get out from farming, you could just simply dump in here until you can move it upstairs. Behind the single door pretty much just leads to the center of the base. So as you see, the center is actually based off my last group base design, and it's quite similar to that, but it's actually a little different. We have tons of boxes in the center, so you should have no reason not to split off your loot. In the center triangle is pretty much just going to be a cupboard. Where else would it be? To get to our third floor, all you gotta do is just hop on this ladder, open up the ladder hatch, and then jump onto the ladder hatch and get up to your third floor. Not too hard. And now we're on our third floor, and as you see, this loot room is super spacious, so it's very group friendly. To start the loot room off, these two double doors open up to a 5 chest loot room, and this loot room is pretty much 4 walls from any direction to raid, so this is like a very hard loot room to raid, so I do suggest that you put things like explosives in here. Like the first base, I included a cluster of boxes, that way we can use these as unorganized storage. So for these, I suggest dumping everything you get from PvP in here and not even bothering with the organization. Next up, we have these utility rooms right here. So in this room, we have a repair bench and a research table, and in the other one, we have some gear storage. So if you want to create sets for your group, you can put it in here. Next up in these side rooms, we have 5 small furnaces and 4 large boxes. And of course, we have the same thing on the other side. Up this final ladder hatch leads up to our 4th floor, which is going to be our final floor. So on this floor, you can pretty much just do whatever you want in the center location here. I chose to just put 2 loot room pods that have 2 boxes in each. These are just 3 walls or 2 walls to get to them, so they're not too hard to raid. If you want to further split off your loot by putting loot up here, this would make the base much harder to raid. But anyways, up here we have shooting ports, and to start it off, we have a simple window port which is just used to get long range shots. Next we have these double doors here which have wooden signs to protect your head from long distance headshots, and you can crouch to shoot people up on hills, or you can just stand up to shoot people down below. The next thing we have is pretty much just a single door that is completely useless, but you can get a nice vertical angle on people. And yeah guys, that's pretty much it for base number 3 and pretty much it for the entire video. So if you did like the bases that were featured in this video, go ahead and like the video and comment whichever base you find your favorite. Personally, I find number 1 the best because it's always been my go-to base and I find it kind of creative what I've done with the interior. But anyways guys, thank you all so much for watching, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.